This week we've been looking at the subject of who is the Antichrist as people talk about these things. A lot of times people are sharing just things they've heard or what they think, their own opinions or whatever else. But we're looking at what Scripture has to say. And the major books that talk about this in the Bible is the book of Daniel, the Olivet Discourse with Jesus in Matthew 24, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. And now we're looking at the book of Revelation, which is certainly the most comprehensive description of the Antichrist, what he's doing, why he's doing it, and his end and so forth. And we're looking at chapter 11 and verse 7 to start with today. Let's take a good look at some of the things the book of Revelation tells us. And when they had finished their witness, the beast that comes up out of the abyss will make war with them and overcome them and kill them. Now this is in the context of chapter 11. In the tribulation period, two witnesses will step forward, empowered by God, to challenge Satan and his leaders, and also to proclaim the gospel. And so we have the church is gone now, in my opinion. So who is going to give the gospel to the world at this time? Now we find in the book of Revelations that angels actually proclaim the gospel at times. And we have 144,000 Jewish witnesses that are out there doing that. But we also have, and I think the beginning of spreading the gospel goes back to two witnesses that I believe come forward at the first part of the tribulation period. These witnesses will minister for 3.5 years. No one can kill them. No one can stop them until we come to chapter 11, verse 7. And the Lord allows his two witnesses to be murdered by the Antichrist, which is called here the beast that comes up out of the abyss. The abyss is the prison house for demonic spirits. And this beast is going to come up out of the abyss and will make war with them. And he will kill them and overcome them. Now God lets that happen for his own purposes, but that is the really the beginning of the real power of the Antichrist. He has probably been around for 3.5 years already, setting up his kingdom, winning over the approval of the world around him, but he's not yet revealed who he really is and his ugliness and his great power until now. Then we go over to chapter 13 of Revelation, and we get a further description of this beast. I'm going to read quite a few verses very quickly here, going through this section of the Bible. Look at chapter 13 with me. And the dragon stood on the sand of the seashore. Dragon here in the book of Revelation is the devil himself. And I saw a beast coming up out of the sea. This is our man, having 10 horns and 10 diadems, and on his heads were the blasphemous names. You recall from a few days ago the book of Daniel, speaking of someone who would control the 10 kingdoms of the earth, 10 horns and 10 7 heads and so forth. Really fits well with what Daniel talked about. And the beast which I saw was like a leopard. His feet was like those of a bear, mouth like a mouth of a lion. The dragon gave him his power and his throne and his great authority. So these descriptions of him are very close, if not identical, to what is given to Daniel in the book of Daniel. And I saw one of his heads, if it had been fatally slain, and his fatal wound was healed, and the whole earth marveled and followed after the beast. I referenced this yesterday, but here's the scripture that speaks of it. And they worshiped the dragon. There's Satan's great desire to be worshipped, because he gave authority to the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, "Who is like the beast? Who is able to wage war with him?" And there was given him a mouth speaking like great boasts and blasphemies, and authority was given to him for 42 months. And this is 3.5 years, the latter half of the tribulation. And he opened his mouth in blasphemies against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, that is, those who dwell in heaven. 2 Thessalonians 2 talks about those very things. It was also given to him to make war with the saints, to overcome them, and authority over every tribe and people and tongue and nation was given to him. And all who dwell on the earth will worship him, and everyone whose name was not written from the foundation of the world in the book of life, the Lamb who was slain, of the Lamb who was slain. If anyone has an ear, let him hear. So we have here that what he's going to be doing during this time as he is worshipped, as he takes over the earth, as he kills those who try to oppose him. Chapter 12, as we had mentioned yesterday, the Lord does protect a great number of his people. So this is the Antichrist, the beast that comes up out of the sea, Satan's main leader of this time. The goal is accomplished short term by the world. The dragon, Satan, is worshipped, and the Antichrist himself is worshipped. They blaspheme God. They oppose God. That's why we call him the Antichrist. We don't know who he is yet, but we do know these are descriptions given of him in the book of Revelation.